I have gone ahead and pulled the Mozzie screen from the window because I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about leaking windows. This is a standard Mobicool window. I believe it is fitted in most Caravans. I have identified 4 different areas where this window leaks. The first is if you haven't gone ahead and tightened the screws which attach the frame to the Caravan wall itself. If you check, sometimes these are loose. My suggestion is go ahead and hand tighten all of these. Don't over tighten. It's all plastic and it will just snap off if you over tighten. Sometimes that takes care of the problem where you have a leak coming between the window frame and the wall itself. There are times where the opening for the window is cut a little too large and the seal that is on the outside doesn't have enough surface area to seal off the window. Now, the second type of leak I've identified on the window actually comes from the hinge of the window pane itself and the frame. This hinge point sometimes allows water to come in. There is actually a rubber seal on the top side of it, but sometimes that seal doesn't seal the hinge line and water comes in from there. So that's the second type of leak that I have seen. Now, the third type of leak that I have seen is actually from the seal itself and the window pane. Sometimes when you close the window, there is a gap between the seal and the window pane, and water actually comes in between the seal and the window itself. Now, another leak area that I have identified is the seal itself. This seal, this window seal, goes all the way around, and they have got little breather holes. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to point it out to you. If you look at your window seal, you will see that the holes are there. And I suspect that on the other side of the seal, on the outside of the seal, there are some breather holes too. And water is getting into there and coming into the seal itself because this seal is hollow. And I've looked on the outside and there are no holes at the bottom. So when the seal fills with water, the water is just going to come out into there, overflow and come into the van. So those are the type of leaks that I have identified with this type of window. I have an issue with the windows in my Caravan. So far, I've been very lucky. There are leaks, but the leaks aren't very, very bad. Or at least I've taken care of it so that it's now just leaking a little bit when the rain is very heavy. And I identified that in mine, one of the windows, the gap in the corner was very, very large, and I could actually see sunlight coming in and water was getting in there and dripping down and leaking onto the bed. So what I have done with that one is I've tried to fill it with silicone. However, as we are aware, if we can't get a good spread on the silicone to cover the entire area, it's still going to leak. And I wasn't going to go ahead and pull this window. I have submitted a warranty claim to Crusader, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. I hope that they will come to the party and fix the leak. Or replace the windows if it is a batch of bad windows. If you have a leak between the window frame and the Caravan, it probably means that the foam seal between the two doesn't have enough surface area to provide a good seal. And if you're waiting to get it repaired, but want to stop the leak, all you have to do is to run gaffer tape between the top and the frame all the way across in one continuous piece, and that usually stops water from getting between the frame and the Caravan. If you're getting a leak from the hinge gap, then what you want to do is to close the window and then put a piece of gaffer tape starting here between the frame and the window, again all the way across in one continuous strip, and this usually stops water from coming down the side of the Caravan and getting in between the frame and the composite wall and leaking into the van. Now, bear in mind, these are temporary fixes. You're going to have to get that taken care of professionally, or if you are handy and your Caravan is out of warranty, till you are able to actually get a seal and the proper tools to pull it off and fix it yourself. With my windows, I've got a leak between the seal and the composite wall of the Caravan. I'm one of the lucky ones where the leak isn't very bad, unless the rain is really heavy or the wind's blowing particularly hard in a particular direction. Then the water does come in, and that shouldn't happen. On our Caravan, we've got a leak between the window frame and the composite wall, and I don't know if it is simply just the seal, or if it's getting past that and coming down through the hinge as well and leaking down the side. But while the leak is not very bad, and while we are up north and probably won't be back in Perth till it starts to dry out, I am not going to attempt to pull the window. I have, as I mentioned earlier, put in a warranty claim with Crusader, and I will let them take care of that properly. I don't want to pull the window and have them say that, I've modified it. It is an existing leak. It's not as bad as some of the leaks that I have seen online, but it does need to be taken care of. Right, so if you look carefully, you will see that there are some weep holes in the trim, and I'll show you. Oops, let me point that away. So it's clear that there is water inside the trim, and because the weep hole is on the top, and when it's full, the water's got nowhere else to go, it overflows to the inside. I've looked at the other windows, and I've noticed that not all of them have a weep hole on the inside. And those that don't have the weep hole on the inside are not leaking in that area. So I suspect that this trim has been put in upside down. So the solution for water pooling on top of the seal, if you've got the holes on the top, is to make a hole at the bottom. So take note that the seal has 3 exposed surfaces: the top, the face, and the bottom. And what we want to do is to make a hole in the bottom so that the water that gets into the seal itself has a drainage point. This seal has got no holes at the bottom, and the holes are only on the top, so when the water comes in, it's got nowhere to go. What we want to do is to make sure that when we cut the hole, we cut it on the bottom edge and not on the face edge. Otherwise, it won't seal properly against the window. Grab the seal, squeeze it slightly, and you will see the bottom edge stick out, and make a little cut. And you can see now all the water dripping out of there. Quite a fair amount of water that's in this particular seal. And hopefully now you won't get water pooling on the top anymore. I hope this helps you identify the type of leaks that you have with your windows. If you have leaking windows, then at least you have an idea where it's coming from or what to look at. Hope this video has been informative, and if it has, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I will have a few more how-to videos coming up. Cheers.